I'm going to warn you all right off the bat. I'm probably going to divulge in some details of this film that would be considered spoilers. I will be talking spoilers later on in the film, but I'm specifically mentioning it about this film in particular because I truly do think if you're wanting to watch this film, it's best knowing as little as possible. And even I didn't know loads going into it, and even I felt like I knew too much for what I would have preferred. So if you haven't seen The End of Oak Street, leave, watch the film, come back. It's worth a watch. There you go. So I didn't know what to expect going into The End of Oak Street. I was looking forward to it in the way of like it's a David Robert Mitchell film. I'm a big fan of It Follows. It was produced by J.J. Abrams, which I found interesting. And the only thing I really knew about it is like I saw like the very first trailer or whatever, where it was like a suburban house, and there's dinosaurs. That's all I really knew. So that's all I kind of went with it. And I overall really, really, really liked this film up until the very ending. But before we get to that, I kind of want to like talk a bit about the film and what I liked about it. I think that like this film just felt like it had a really old school blockbuster feeling to it, in the sense of, yes, there is big scale stuff happening, but it's not, I don't know, it's not like, you know, big action scenes with superheroes and big beams firing up in the sky and aliens are invading and the army has to get, it's not like that. It centers around, it's very small town in terms of scale. We follow a family in the 80s. We follow a neighborhood in the 80s. We specifically follow one family, which is the family of Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor, who are a married couple, who are really good in the film. They're really, really, really enjoyable in this film. I'm happy to say that all the performances are really enjoyable, even the kids. I don't know their names, the actors' names in this film. But the family overall was really, it was a really enjoyable family to go through with, and it was and they were like engaging protagonists. And what I also really liked about them in particular is they didn't feel squeaky clean. Like right off the bat, we are kind of like we're kind of aware that it's like, oh, they're like Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor are on the brink of a divorce, and the family is kind of on the brink of falling apart. So that's so that already there's an interesting layer to it and everything. And then all of a sudden, like, the film takes, like, a mental, like, turn. And then there's dinosaurs. And the neighborhood is now, it's kind of been plonked in, like, the land of the dinosaurs. And immediately there's a mystery to it that I'm curious about. That kept me engaged throughout the film. So along with, like, engaging, like, interesting protagonists with engaging performance and an interesting storyline, that's already kind of like a fun thing to do. But what also makes this film, in my opinion, kind of a must-see in the cinema is the actual, like, big action set pieces. And I mean, like, all the dinosaur stuff is sick. It is so good. I was concerned, like with anything like this, I'm always like cautious about like, well, how's the CGI gonna look? How are they gonna do the effects? How like naff is it gonna look? Now, what I will say is, You can tell that there's like CGI in this. Like the CGI isn't seamless, but it's really well done. And I think like, I mean, I could be wrong, but there's a good amount of practical effects in this as well. Like some of the less mobile dinosaurs look practical, and it just feels better. Like as a viewer, like it's just really like, I don't know, it's just fun to see. And as I said, even the CGI looks pretty good. I think what helps with this film is that the CGI dinosaurs are never the main focus. Like, we never get that shot, you know, like in every fucking Jurassic Park film, which the first film did it amazingly, where we have this big, and then every sodden other film in that franchise are like, when you do that every single time, where it's like a big sweeping wide of like a dinosaur. Like, we never have that in this film. Like, there's no like, wow, look at this dinosaur. I think I really like the fact how immediately the dinosaurs in this film are scary and a threat. And I felt that throughout the film as well. Like, anytime there was a dinosaur, like, it, like I was scared by it. And I think it's like as well, because we were always from the perspective of the family. We never like were in the perspective of a dinosaur, or I never felt like we had like a voyeuristic point of view. It always felt like we were in it with the family. Like when the dinosaurs are chasing, like the very first time when the dinosaurs are chasing Ewan McGregor and Anne Hathaway, I was like on the edge of my seat. I felt like my palms sweating from how like intense the chase. Like it felt genuinely frightening. And that was any dinosaur moment in this film. It's like, it always felt frightening. It never felt like, whoa, look at the dinosaur. Or especially not, I never felt like, oh my God, I'm watching another CGI fuckfest. It felt, you know, it felt sporadic. That I was never oversaturated with the dinosaurs. So when they did come into it, it was, you know, a really intense moment. One moment that I can think of specifically that kind of gripped me was the big long, I don't know, I'm not a dinosaur guy, so I don't know the names of these things. When that like big slug snake one goes through the house and it's just about to get Anne Hathaway, and then when the son fires an arrow and then he screams and he freaks out, that was like, at first it was like a bit funny because he's a funny looking guy. He's just gonna, and I was thinking to myself, is this gonna be a nice one? Like, are we gonna get like a chill dinosaur who's just kind of like, oh, what's happening here? But then when you see him like open his mouth, it goes, Jesus Christ, that looks like horrendous. It looks like almost like when Pennywise opens his mouth, like the deadlights. It felt like that. But yeah, no, and but it was very. Like, anytime there was a dinosaur in this film, it was frightening, and it kept me on the edge of my seat. And all these scenes involving a dinosaur, whether it be a chase or anything like that, was like, oh my God. And I think what also like impressed me with this film, because this film's a 12A over here in the UK, and to me that just communicates like, oh, sanitization. Like, you're not like, you didn't go hard enough to be a 15 kind of thing. But this film is done incredibly well to be like, to you, even though it is a 12A, it still is brutal. Like, from the get-go of like, the get-go of when we see like Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor getting chased by, I assume, is it a velociraptor? Oh no. The smaller little ones. Again, I'm so brain dead with dinosaurs names. When they're first getting chased, my thought was like, okay, neat. This is frightening. Are these dinosaurs now, are we only going to see them just chase after folks? But then we see like one, like in the midst of this chase, we see the dinosaur dive and bite the head of a neighbor. And we see the body go limp. And it's like, oh my God, they actually go quite brutal. There's actually moments where it's done really clever And it's the combination of the cinematography and the editing in this film where, like, we just see enough where there's no, like, big gory blood scene in this film, but we see enough to be like, oh my god, I just saw a murder. Or, like, there's the moment of when their neighbors firing a gun on the roof at the no, the Velociraptors are the ones that fly, the flying dinosaurs, and then he eventually gets eaten. But then the camera kind of moves so that the one of the planks of wood that have boarded the window, that is hiding the gruesome stuff, and we just see the dinosaurs flying in, and we hear the like the sound design in it, but we don't see any of the gory details. And then we have good actors acting. Like, we have Anne Hathaway and Ewan McGregor reacting to it, and they're very good actors, so they're reacting to it well. I think that's also nice as well. Like, with a lot of these films, there's a lot of times where, like, I don't know, they, like, the film kind of, like, tries to, like, just go full ham on the visual effects that they don't get good actors or, like, they're not really performing well. But, like, they get really good actors, and also David Robert Mitchell is a good director to where he can get a really solid performance out of everyone in this film, to where you as an audience member are now emotionally invested in what's happening. It's not just, oh yeah, I'm watching dinosaurs doing dinosaur stuff, cool. It's like, oh no, I'm, like, fearful with these people. And I'm actually emotionally invested in what's going to happen with them. And especially to me, the peak of the film emotionally, and, like, what I was, like, really quite, like, blown away by was, again, spoilers, if you're still here for some reason, when the T-Rex is chasing after them all, and they all get split up, and he ends up cornering Anne Hathaway, which is, like, scary. I'm like, oh my god, how is she going to get out of this? And then Ewan McGregor clocks him with the sledgehammer, and then I think he like jaws him, and then I think, oh, he's knocked him out. But then you see him, like, get up, like the T-Rex get up. And it's like, oh fuck, he's done a Michael Myers, he's not down yet. And then he bites Ewan McGregor's leg and throws him down. And then in my head, I'm like, oh shit, how's he gonna get out of this? And you can see him injured, and Ewan McGregor's reacting. And then you just see the dinosaur bite Ewan McGregor's head off. Like, that was, like, I was like, oh my god. And we're, like, I don't know, about halfway through the film, maybe. I thought, at least. And I'm like, holy shit. Like, they just killed one of the main characters off like that. And then I had this reaction of, like, again, this really, like, intense, insane action sequence, which was really, like, legitimately edge of my seat, to being, like, horrified and, like, shocked that they killed off Ewan McGregor, to then feeling emotional, because then we cut to, like, Anne Hathaway's reaction, and then she walks over, and then the kids saw it happen, and she's moving them away, and it's like, it was, to me, that was a real movie moment. That whole sequence was, like, such, like, a, oh my god, we had an actual moment that got a reaction from me, and it was really, and it was great, and it was fantastic. And the whole thing of, I was still really into the film by this point, of when they were getting to this big orb portal thing. Like, this is the only this might be the way that saves us. Let's jump in. And then they jump through the big like sphere thing, the sphere portal, after, like, again, another great action sequence of killing everyone. Like, I love, like, how, like, this film is, like, is relentless, and it doesn't hold back on, like, yeah, we're going to introduce characters, and then we're going to kill them. We're not just going to like have them, oh, I'm hurt and everyone lives. It's like, no, we are killing these people that you were introduced to because these are dinosaurs and they are vicious beings that man cannot handle. So anyway, like Anne Hathaway and the kids, they jump through this portal, they fall down into a pool. And in my head, I'm like, okay, we've time traveled. Or we've went to another universe. And I'm like, are we now in the present day? Like, are we now in the 2020s or wherever? Because we're in the 80s, and the film does a very good job at establishing the 80s without a title card. It's like you see, like, old TVs and you see typewriters, and it's really well done, like, production design and costume design. It's very well done stuff. And then I thought, like, oh, it'd be really cool. It's like, I'd start suspecting, are we now in the present time? Have they time traveled so far into the future that that's where they're at now? And now Anne Hathaway and these kids now have to, like, kind of, like, just deal with being in present day. I thought, oh, that would be interesting. That'll be another layer. But then we find out we're still in 1982. And we find out it's the day of, like, of when their lives changed, of when the neighborhood got moved. And what follows is they find Ewan McGregor. You know, Ewan McGregor is bad because it's like 10 minutes before it all happened. So okay, they've got Ewan McGregor before he died. We see the neighborhood disappear, and now there's a land. And then we find out that, like, that Anne Hathaway in a phone booth called everyone else and saved them. And then the film literally just ends with a happily ever after. Now, to me, that felt like a massive cop-out. It felt like a big Deus Ex Machina of, like, and then we time travel back to before it happened, and then we just save everyone. I'm like, I don't know. I would have, like, I don't know, like, commit to it. That was like to me, like, and then it just ended. Like, it felt like such, like, an abrupt way of end. Like, as, like, it was setting up the ending. It's like, oh yeah, and Anne Hathaway saved us all. That was great. Blah blah blah. And Anne Hathaway wrote her book, and now we all live happily ever after at the end. I'm like, wait, hang on a minute. You kind of rushed that ending, didn't you? See, I don't know. It just felt a bit Deus Ex Machina. It felt a bit cop out. It didn't ruin the whole film, but to me, it just felt like, I don't know, like, the film did so well, storyline-wise, of, like, showing consequences, to just wipe that away in an unexplained, but we went back in time and we saved the day. Just a lot less interesting for me. But yeah, I don't know. Like that's the main bit about this film where I'm like, could have done without that. But what I will say as well, like, I you know, even though that is like a big factor for me, I'm like, didn't really hit the landing there for me, if you're asking me. I still, like, for the rest of, like, because I think it's only an hour and 45. It's not a long film, which I also do appreciate. But for, like, the rest of, like, the hour 35, I'm still, like, I was still well engaged in the whole thing. It was just like that last 10 minutes where I'm like, what are we doing here? And it kind of like, all right, never mind. Still doesn't take away from how great of a time I had for the rest of the film. Another shout out I want to say of what I really enjoyed about this film. I really like the music, the Michael Giacchino score. It gave 80s whimsy. I think that's also what I really like about this film. And I kind of talked about it in my It Follows video. Check that out if you haven't already as well. Where the film, it feels nostalgic without being referential. Like, it doesn't feel in your face. Like, this film, unlike It Follows, this film is directly set within the 1980s. But this film feels like a blockbuster film from the 80s. Like, and as opposed to a modern day film trying to replicate an 80s film. You know what I mean? Like, when they're like, again, I think like A Stranger Things, or there's other films as well. It, and I like it. But there's many other things where it's like, we're just going to reference the 80s because we love the 80s. We love 80s movies. We just really love the 80s. Where this film just feels like it was set in the 80s, and yeah. And the film could have been made in the 80s. I would believe that this film would have definitely been, it feels like a Gremlins, or it feels like, like an Amblin film. While still feeling like it belongs within this time period. It's a really fun time. Although I didn't like the ending of this film, I would still recommend going to see the film because it's well worth it. And yeah, that's my thoughts on the end of Oak Street. What did you think of the film? Comment below, let me know. If you like the video, make sure to give it a like and share. Subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this. Links are in the description below for the Crazy Stupid Kino Instagram page, as well as my own personal Instagram page and Letterboxd account to see what I'm watching. You can click more videos here to see what else we do here on this channel. Until next time, I shall see you later.